This is an NBC News special report.
Hello and good morning. My name is Truman Hunter, here with you today for the Saturday News. Calamity has struck at 2nd Ave and 7th Street in downtown New York City as a 13-story apartment building caught fire in the early hours of the morning. First responders rushed to the scene in a frantic attempt to save the 30-year-old building, brandishing blowtorches and gasoline. Hello and good morning. My name is Truman Hunter, here with you today for the presentation of Firefighter Burning Bright. I have the privilege of introducing our topic and laying out a few of the elements we'll be going over today. We pulled various ideas and concepts from the novel that were reoccurring and settled on the imagery and depiction of fire, an element that exhibited multifaceted symbolism and connected repeatedly with an overarching theme, freedom. Presenting our argument will be Aubrey Durka. Over to you, Aubrey.
Thanks, Truman. The idea and concept of fire is prevalent throughout the novel. It is a very vivid image that anyone could think of. This metaphor of burning, heat, and flame adds to the theme of freedom. Bradbury's use of animal symbolism, freedom from conformity and censorship, and the ability to gain knowledge of one's free will are depicted through his use of fire in different forms and situations. Now on to Allie for animal symbolism.
Thanks, Audrey. So I'm going to be talking about animal symbolism, and the reoccurring animal theme in this book is the phoenix, because the phoenix is historically associated with fire and with the sun, birth, and renewal. And in the book kind of has this dual relationship between the firemen, and the phoenix is on the fireman's helmet, and it kind of symbolizes destruction and creating a new world through fire. But then it's also brought up by the character named Granger, who uses the phoenix as a symbol of man and how he has the potential to learn from his mistakes. The phoenix dies and can't learn from its past lives, but the man is like a phoenix, but he can actually learn from past mistakes. And if he can do that, if he can learn to grow, then he can save himself. And so the ability to grow out of this destructive cycle is completely up to man and his foresight. And this theme again of freedom, and man is free to choose destruction, and he's free to choose growth and renewal. And that's how the theme of the phoenix is used. And
thanks, Allie. Book banning and blatant lies in the modern media give the people a skewed sense of their history and present lives. One of the reasons for this censorship is the claim that the public will be happier. The first quote is by Beatty. It says, "Cram them so full of non-combustible data, chalk them so, excuse my language, damned full of facts. They feel stuffed, but absolutely brilliant with information. Then they'll feel their thinking. They'll get the sense of motion without moving." The public is shielded from the truth many times throughout the book for the sake of happiness. There's the history of firefighters in the firefighter pamphlet, which lies about their past of putting out fires rather than burning. There is Montag's death in the end of the book, where they broadcast the footage of them taking down an innocent man that they claim is Montag. Also, with the amount that people consume media in the book, the war was barely mentioned to them, and when the area was about to get bombed, the public wasn't alerted. In a dark room, a lit candle provides light to see. The sun brightens the day. Similarly so, fire represents enlightenment. In the second quote, it says, "Clarice, we recall, used to stay up nights waiting for the sunrise, and her face reminded Montag of a clock dial pointing towards a new sun. The sun, a traditional symbol of truth and enlightenment, is antithetical to the dark night of ignorance that Beatty spread across the land." Using this analogy, Clarice is like a flame that enlightens Montag and illuminates the world around him and makes him question things. This fire is lit in Montag and continues to grow throughout the book. Next, we'll go to Louisa, who will talk about freedom from conformity.
Thanks, Kara. Next, we have the quote, "Heat and therefore fire is life. Someone who is warm is alive, active, and dynamic," by the cited source, Carlson Wayman. There's contrast between the enlightened character and those that conform. The fiery ones like Montague and Clarice McClellan are passionate, lively, and hard to control. And the cold ones, such as Montague's wife, who represents the rest of the community, is stagnant, passive, and empty. And then Faber says at the end, "But remember that the captain belongs to the most dangerous enemy to truth and freedom, the solid, unmoving cattle of the majority. Oh goodness, the terrible tyranny of the majority." Next, we're on to Michaela, talking about fire in comparison to character growth.
Thank you. The characters in Fahrenheit 451 are diverse in their personality, and their inner fire is equally so. Guy Montague's inner fire, or desire for mental stimulus, starts as a spark. It is a subconscious thing. In the very beginning of the book, we catch him glancing at a wall vent, which we later comes to find is hiding a book. That small spark soon grows to a raging fire after Millie's attempted suicide and watching a woman refuse to leave her books to burn in her house. He realizes that the books may contain something he needs to give his life purpose. We have a quote from him: "That fire will last me the rest of my life. I've been trying to put it out in my mind all night." This newfound inner fire consumes Montague's every thought, and reading books and talking with Mr. Faber seem to be the only thing to quench the hunger for productive thought. Montague met with Fire Captain BT and Mr. BT did his best to try and stamp out the fire. BT shares that Montague reminds him of Icarus. He has flown too close to the sun. Although Mr. Montague was a bit shaken and on the run for a little bit, the firefighter's fire burns bright and is still going. Millie, on the other hand, has lost her spark, unfortunately. The very first time we meet her, she tried to commit suicide, and apparently a common occurrence in this city. This has been a special report on the novel Fahrenheit 451. We thank you for joining us and hope to see you next evening.